will celebrate exactly 50 individual educators from all 7 schools who collectively have contributed a total of 835 years of educating Belmont's children. That is countless students inspired, countless futures positively impacted, and countless lives changed for the better. Now, these educators fill a lot of different roles. They are classroom teachers, they are professional aides, they're specialists, they're directors and assistant directors, they're technology specialists, they're team chairs, they're social workers, they're administrative assistants, they're members of the food service team, and they're even BEA presidents. They work in a lot of different places, in classrooms, in cafeterias, and in offices, and they work for many lengths of time, between 10 and 30 years. But whatever role they play, they've all contributed to the larger mission of the Belmont Public Schools, which is educating children and preparing them for their future. So today we thank them for all their contributions, and especially the length of their contributions to Belmont's children and their families. However you calculate it, it's an incredible amount of dedication, of service, and of effort. And so today we're fortunate to be able to stop, to say thank you, and to celebrate all of you for your exceptional loyalty. To begin today's ceremony in earnest, I will ask our superintendent, Dr. Jill Geiser, to say a few brief words.
So I was thinking about those of you who have started back 25 or 30 years ago. If you'll humor me in going down memory lane here a little bit, you would have started at a time right after Ed Reform was passed, which brought on MCAS and new curriculum frameworks. During those 90s years, if I remember correctly, there was the first wave of literacy debates between whole language and phonics that has recently resurfaced, as we know. There was also a large debate around ELL education and how EL learners were to be taught. And then, of course, right around the turn of the century, we had NCLB. Lots of changes during that time. And we're only 10 years into that's their service. Looking at our history through a technology perspective, those who started in the early 90s, right when the internet came onto the scene in widespread public use, before cell phones became, as we know, a permanent part of our student lives, and also before social media. All of those came in somewhere in the early 2000s in that time frame. And by that time, more of you would have been in the classroom. A couple of major events that happened. 9/11 was one that sticks out in my mind, and many of you were in the classrooms trying to keep a steady hand for your students and families. And then I was also remembering the economic downturn of 2008, which impacted a lot of our families, a lot of staff. And then I was trying to remember something in the past 5 or 10 years, big thing happened that impacted classrooms and education. I got nothing for you on that end. So all that is to say is that a lot happens in education that impacts your work, and you always get through it all. You always do your best work. You're always focused on students, even if things are swirling around, and that is what it makes you such excellent teachers and educators and professionals. And I thank you for that, and I appreciate your years of service, and I look to continue working with you as we move forward. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Geiser. To introduce colleagues who are celebrating their 10-year milestone, I will ask Denise LaPola, the BEA Vice President, to come up and announce those names. And I'm going to ask Dr. Geiser to come on back to give the handshake.
Hi, everyone. So, as said, I'm Denise LaPola, and I'm the Unit A Vice President, and it is my honor to read the names of all the employees who have reached their 10-year milestone. Bethany Allen. Emily Cuminiero. Yu Chan Chung Swallam. Suna Sina. If you can come up and get your certificate, that would be great. Congratulations. Lisa Ferretti. Rachel Hausman. Jennifer Kariaganis. Stephanie Messon. Claire Murphy. Erin Reagan. Brianne Panzarella. Mary Elizabeth Rumley. Robert Steiner. And Yanni Yildirim. Okay.
Thank you, Denise. To introduce colleagues celebrating their 15-year milestone, I'll ask School Committee Chair Meg Moriarty to say a few words, and if she wants, or just announce the names. There she is.
I'll just do the names. I don't think anybody wants any words. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Meg Moriarty. I'm chair of the Belmont School Committee, and it is truly my honor to introduce the names of those Belmont educators who are celebrating their 15-year milestone of service to our students of the Belmont Public Schools. Beverly Caderet. Oh, good, you're here. Elizabeth Cox. Amy Dougherty. Jessica Eisner. Nicole Heffernan. Wendy Hurwitz. Bhuvana Kausik. Joanne McIsaac. Carl Mitchell. Allison Murray. Joan Pross. Lauren Pisano. Andrew Samuels. Jessica Watkins.
Thank you, Meg. To introduce colleagues who are celebrating their 20-year milestone, I will ask Lucia Sullivan, Assistant Superintendent, to come up and read the names.
Good afternoon. My name is Lucia Sullivan. I'm Assistant Superintendent, and it is an honor to be able to announce the recipients of the 20 years serving the students of the Belmont Public Schools. The first person is Patricia Adamian. Mike Bruno. Nicholas Chambers. Michelle Connors. Melanie Hannon. Leela Josepher. Mary Beth Menka. Rebecca Moyer. Leslie McIntosh. Gail Milani. Oh, again. Elizabeth Pruitt. Carol Skepa. Jeffrey Shea. Christine Triskita. Sheila Walsh. Michael Williams.
Thank you to Superintendent Geiser for her remarks, and to Denise Sapola, to Meg Moriarty, and Lucia Sullivan for their help with today's ceremony. For those educators celebrating their 25th and 30th year milestones to the service of service to the children of Belmont, We asked their direct supervisors to say a few brief words to honor their efforts over such a significant amount of time. We will begin with Deb McDevitt, who will speak on behalf of Deborah Dashoff.
Hi, everyone. Today, I am delighted to recognize Debbie Dashoff for 25 years of service to Belmont High School. I'll say that, frankly, I am also somewhat surprised, as I am pretty sure we are both still 27. Yeah, no, they're just me, yeah. Well, as you might see, I am definitely not a math expert, but I roughly estimate that Debbie has touched the lives of over 3,000 students and inspired them with her level of social studies throughout all of her tenure here at BHS, and that is an amazing legacy. I first met Debbie 25 years ago when she joined us here in Belmont, but even before I met her, Debbie's career path focused on supporting young people. After college at Brandeis, she got her master's in social work and then went back to school to get her degree in teaching. And ever since, she has used her knowledge of psychology and history to support the students of the Belmont Public Schools in countless and truly amazing ways. Debbie once told me that one of the reasons she chose teaching as a career was because she wanted to help young people become good decision makers. And to this day, she has continuously focused on ways to use the curriculum to support students in thinking about how different choices will lead to different outcomes and pathways, both personally and historically. Over the 25 years we've worked together, Debbie and I have often collaborated during our planning time, teaching world history and modern world history together. For many years, her classroom was next door to mine, and some years we even shared a classroom. Debbie is a deeply reflective practitioner who is always striving to improve her craft. She is open to new ideas, she loves to collaborate with colleagues, and she is invariably thinking about how to help each student succeed. She is endlessly generous with her time, ever ready to support her colleagues and advocate for her students. In her world history classes, students are challenged to think critically about higher level questions. In her psychology classes, students regularly apply what they've learned to real-world authentic scenarios. Debbie is always available to her students and can be found most afternoons working with students in her classroom. They appreciate her attention to detail and her supportive presence. As a student told me, Ms. Dashoff is such a helpful teacher who cares deeply about her students and their well-being. As for her colleagues, when I asked them about what it was like to work with her, they were all effusive in their praise of Debbie, not only as a caring teacher, but as a supportive colleague and friend. They talked about how they appreciate Debbie's sense of humor and her epic storytelling. They describe her as a wonderful friend who is generous beyond comparison. As one teacher said, I remember my first day in Belmont back in 2003 when I learned I was going to teach psychology and school started the next day. I had taken exactly one psych class in college and had no clue where to even start. Debbie pulled me aside and told me that she would help me get through the class, which is exactly what she did. I ended up teaching psychology for many years and will never forget how Debbie helped me get through that first year. In the words of another one of her colleagues, Debbie has never shied away from anything, and that is why we love her. Belmont has been extremely lucky to be the beneficiary of Debbie Dashoff's passion for social studies and tremendous work ethic over the past 25 years. Congratulations on this professional milestone.
Next, I'd like to introduce Ardo Asadorian, who will speak on behalf of Nicole Pond.
Hi, everyone. Whoops. An auspicious start. My name's Arto Asadorian. I'm the Curriculum Director for Visual and Performing Arts. I'm just so proud and privileged to be here today to share some words about my colleague, Nicole Pond, who I've had the privilege of working with for 18 of her 25 years in Belmont. I also want to say thank you, Deb, for being such a tough act to follow. You should have asked Deb to speak on your behalf instead, but I'll do the best I can. The other day, some of the folks in our department, when they read the list of honorees for today and learned that this was Nicole's 25th year in Belmont, they were shocked, there were audible gasps, and there were jaws on the floor. They just couldn't believe that Nicole has worked anywhere for 25 years because she just seems far too youthful. So we decided that maybe it was because none of us were here when you were hired in that group, that there was probably some kind of a Doogie Howser situation and that Nicole was hired to teach right after she graduated 4th grade. Seems accurate. I think the only real indicator of Nicole's actual age is when you walk into her classroom and she has music playing and it sounds like really pretty dulcimer music or xylophone music, and then you realize that it's like Radiohead and Nirvana and stuff like that. So that's an indicator of the era she grew up in. Nicole is one of the few remaining BPS employees who was hired in the 1900s, which is crazy, and she still is not the longest tenured member of the art department, so that's even crazier. But I think that says a lot about our community when an arts educator of Nicole's caliber can establish roots as a young teacher and then choose to spend her entire career teaching here. Over that time, we've seen her start and raise her family in our community, which is really wonderful. Over the past 25 years, Nicole has taught in every Belmont school except for the high school and the Wellington. So the Wellington, too bad for you, and the high school, too bad for you, but every other school has gotten Miss Pond as their art teacher. This experience has given her great perspective on teaching and learning at all different grade levels, as well as a keen insight on how our school district functions. This is one of the reasons that Nicole has become such a valuable leader in our district, at the Burbank School and within our Visual and Performing Arts department. She's been instrumental in developing school schedules and just helping with general school operations for many years. Nicole has developed and organized stay-and-play events and other programs in partnership with the METCO program aimed at helping our Boston students develop a stronger sense of belonging here in Belmont. She's provided leadership and mentoring to countless new educators in Belmont, and not only just for art teachers. And Nicole extends her influence outside of Belmont, helping to train the next generation of art educators as a member of the art education faculty at Boston University. When I first stepped into my current role as the Visual and Performing Arts Director in 2012, my background was in music education, so I had a lot to learn about visual art curriculum. And my predecessor, Bill Papazizis, the best advice he gave me at that time was just spend a lot of time in Nicole's classroom. You'll learn everything you need to learn. And it was really, really great advice. Nicole was and continues to be an incredible source of support to me, and not only when I have questions about the elements of art and principles of design. She's been a valuable thought partner and advisor over the years, and I've just been so fortunate and grateful to have you as a colleague. And all of this is in addition to the incredible work that Nicole does in her classroom every day with her students. Her art room is a calm and safe space, partly because of the quiet Radiohead music that's playing in the background, where students are engaged in challenging and joyful art making. Nicole is a source of stability and a trusted adult for the students at the Burbank School, and those relationships are on display each day in the art room. One of the things I admire most about Nicole is that even now, after 25 years of teaching, she continues to find the joy and humor in her work with kids every day. Visiting Nicole's classroom and talking to her students about their work, seeing their excitement and how proud Nicole is of them is one of the highlights of the work that I get to do in Belmont. And speaking of work, we want to take a moment when you leave, hopefully before you leave, and check out the art displays over there. The work, not just in coming out of Nicole's classroom, but from all of the schools, all of the art classrooms in our district are up all around here. But take a special moment to walk through the Burbank displays. It is exceptional artwork that her students produce. I think one of the great things about being an arts educator is that we get to help students actually create things. They produce art, they make things that didn't exist before they made them. They put them out into the world. They're a lasting mark of that artist's work, of who that student is in that moment in time, and also of the teacher who helped to inspire them to create it. So now we have a little bit of math project. I usually ask Nicole to check my thinking on things, but I don't want you to check my math on this, okay? So each year, we'll say Nicole's students produce about 9 unique pieces of artwork per student. 10 would have been easier, but I wanted to be accurate because I knew you would call me on it. So we're going to say about 9 pieces of artwork per student at the elementary schools. Each piece of artwork employs a variety of different materials, and students demonstrate their understanding of new concepts, mastery of skills, and their ability to communicate complex feelings, ideas, and emotion. Each project is carefully and thoughtfully designed by Nicole to be interesting, engaging, and meaningful to the students. For the past 25 years, Nicole has taught, on average, 350 students per year, and they collectively create about 3,150 pieces of artwork annually. So by my math, that means that Nicole Pond is directly responsible for 78,750 original, unique pieces of artwork that have been put out into the world. So just for perspective, that is 131 times as much artwork that is currently on display at the Guggenheim Museum. That is 4 times as much artwork currently on display in Boston at the Museum of Fine Arts. And it is double the amount of artwork currently on display at the Louvre. So, on your next trip to Paris, when you're standing in line with all the other fools waiting to get into the Louvre, just remember that Nicole Pond's students could fill 2 of them with all of the artwork she's helped them create. I want to thank Nicole's family, her husband Jeff, her 2 amazing kids. Ethan, I know, is over here, and Sienna, who are both students in our schools. Oh, he's there. Hi, Ethan. It's been really wonderful. Thank you for sharing your kids with us and bringing them to our schools. They're fantastic. It's been wonderful getting to know your family over the years. And I just want to congratulate you and thank you for all you do for us.
Thank you.
Okay?
And our final 25-year teacher is Amy Sanchez, and I'll invite Marie Penner-Hond up here to say something about her.
I see how it is. You make the new girl go last. Tough acts to follow. Amy did ask me to keep this brief. I tried. It was hard. We'll see how successful I was. Today, it is my very great pleasure to recognize Amy Sanchez for her 25 years of service with the Belmont Public Schools. After completing her bachelor's and her Master of Arts in Teaching at Union College, she joined Belmont in 1999, teaching Spanish at what was then Chenery Middle School. And since that day, she has demonstrated her continuous passion for teaching and her commitment to supporting both her students and her colleagues. Amy cares very deeply about making sure that all students feel seen, supported, and welcomed in her classroom, and that care is evident in everything she does. Her classroom has been described as the epitome of a world language classroom, a bright and welcoming place where adventure and excitement are always just around the corner. I should say classrooms, because as one of the teachers working in both the middle and the high school, Amy has outfitted not 1 but 2 classrooms in top-tier style. In the week between the building reopening for teacher access and the start of classes, I'm pretty sure that Amy was in the building every single day. Certainly every time I came in, she was there and had been there for a while and was going to be there for a while more, putting everything in place to welcome students from day one. This is just one example of Amy's work ethic, which I think can reasonably be described as legendary. She's regularly in the building late in the evening, meeting with students, honing her lesson plans, looking for the perfect authentic resource, or preparing a new game for students to play. After 25 years, some teachers might rest on their well-earned laurels, but Amy is always willing to try new approaches, new activities, and new ideas in order to create powerful learning experiences for her students. She's committed to making sure her lessons are fun and engaging, and has a gift for turning anything into a game. I'm sorry, there is a second page. She understands the middle school mind and is not afraid to be silly while still maintaining high standards for teaching and for learning. Outside the classroom, she goes the extra mile every day for her students and for her colleagues. To give just 1 letter of the alphabet as an example, over the past 25 years, she has taken a variety of outside PD. She has facilitated a PLT. She has coordinated the Pulsera project, and she has helped chaperone a trip to Paris. 1 letter, there's 25 others, look them up. She has also served as co-chair of the World Language Steering Committee on several occasions, beginning all the way back, I think in your 2nd year? It was 2000, I didn't check the date on that. And continuing through the present year, and as a new director, I can say that her expertise and experience have been invaluable resources. Amy cares very deeply about the people around her, and that care is evident in every aspect of her work. She builds positive relationships with her students and brings out their best efforts and behavior. She also has a gift for breaking things down into steps and making sure that students or her colleagues have the knowledge and the resources that they need to be successful. She is an incredibly supportive colleague, generous to a fault with ideas and resources, always willing to listen. She has served as a formal mentor for new teachers on numerous occasions. I actually lost count, and several of her colleagues cited her support as instrumental in helping them find success and a place to be in Belmont. She is a friend as much as a colleague. Whenever we need her, she's always there. To conclude, I'm going to quote a former student who said the most I ever learned in middle school was in Miss Sanchez's class, and it was the most fun I ever had. Amy, Belmont has benefited immensely from your dedication, your support, your sense of humor, and your love of learning for the past 25 years. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
And now I would ask Cindy Marchand, principal of the Winburg Elementary School, to come and say a few words about Wayne Franey, who is celebrating his 30th year in the district.
Just to point out his collaboration, please note how we color coordinated today. It's my extreme pleasure to recognize PE teacher extraordinaire Wayne Franey, who has been a member of Belmont communities, helping and working with teachers for 30 years. During this time, students and staff alike have benefited tremendously from his leadership. One can find Wayne in the morning, greeting students, welcoming them into the school, and helping them off the bus, leading before school enrichment activities, and working with students in his PE class. His lessons are strategically crafted and always highly engaging, fair, and fun. He understands how to motivate students, promote social learning and content skills, and celebrate students' growth. As a colleague, he's supportive, upbeat, and always willing to help. Wayne's broad smile and easy manner are welcome sights in the hall for everyone. He epitomizes kindness and respect for students and staff alike. I've been in this business a long time. I won't tell you how long. And I count Wayne as one of the more skilled PE teachers that I've ever had the pleasure to work with. He models himself as a learner. He's always seeking feedback and thinking deeply about his craft and how to refine it. I've been enlightened by our conversations as we discussed and examined considerations to stretch his phys ed practices. He thought about and shared ideas on how he might incorporate strategies for self-assessment, student self-assessment, to promote negotiation skills, to increase student agency, to foster critical thinking, to weave in elements of literacy, raise awareness, and adjust his practice to be more culturally responsive. The other day he came to me and said, I want you to come down to the gym. You just have to see this. So I went down and he was bowling with decaduahedron dice. And on each face of the dice there was a letter. So at the end of the bowling, he wanted the students to create together in teams as many words as they can. In other words, he was playing bowling boggle with the students. They had a great time and just were so excited by the opportunity to incorporate both literacy and PE. Wayne shared with me how he strategically creates balanced groups while at the same time providing the impression to the students that they have had the choice in creating these balanced groups. He welcomes, contemplates, and applies feedback. He is skilled, thoughtful, and a highly reflective practitioner. When I asked staff for thoughts to share about Wayne, the first responder wrote, "That guy's a clown. I have absolutely nothing nice to say." You can imagine who it was that provided that first response. And when I asked, I went down and I just started laughing, and he looked at me and he said, well, I wanted you to have something to read. So I asked students what they had to say, and here's what they said. Mr. Franey is fun, fair, the best PE teacher I ever had. Of course, it was the only one. He's silly. He's good at sports, energetic, and makes fun activities. If you are not feeling well, he lets you take a little break. He's welcoming, friendly, and helpful with new students. He takes a lot of time to plan something fun. Teaches in fun ways and is full of power. You like that one? He helped me get stronger. He helped teach us how to be fair and to talk nicely to each other. Here's one you'll love. He taught me to play jump rope. We were having a conversation about jump rope. Patty, in the 3rd grade, shared that even if you're good at something, Mr. Franey can help you make it better. Fiona wanted to thank you for all the exercises. It's so fun. Marcel especially loved when you did soccer and basketball games, and he hopes you have a great teaching career. And lastly, Navia wanted to thank you for teaching her to throw backhand so she can throw the ball much farther. Personally, I can't thank Wayne enough. You have been warm and welcoming and really helped me acclimate to the Winbrook community. From day one, he came in the summer just to make sure I had a face and that he could just help me in any way possible. That's Wayne. He will always step up to the plate. He is respected by one and all. Thank you so much.
Celebrating her 30th year in the district, I'll ask Paula Lazar to come up, as well as Russ Cooperstein, principal of the middle school, to say a few words.
I think you have to stand like right there. Paula asked me to shorten the speech, but if you remove 1 or 2 pages, then the other pages don't make any sense. So, being new to Belmont, I recently learned about this event and the tradition of recognizing our staff's dedication across the district. It's really a special event and one that is a small way of acknowledging what folks do on a daily basis and have done for years to make our schools what they are. Paula has done so much to create a space that is safe, inspiring, inclusive, and an opportunity for every student to grow, learn, and lead. I've had the privilege and opportunity to celebrate Paula Lazar and her 30 years of service, and it's a privilege because there are many more deserving to be up here for all of the work they've done alongside Paula and the successes they've shared with her. Over 30 years, she's had a hand in many aspects of student support, engagement, and success as a social worker, and that has largely been in partnership, in collaboration with families, teachers, staff, and administration, and the students she cares for. Because connecting with others, working together, and raising her teammates up is what Paula is all about. I mentioned being new to Belmont, and I'm in my first year as the middle school principal, and I think Paula knew starting a new school was a big deal. And I think she knew that an incoming principal could either support that transition effectively or could pose some potential challenges. She's a leader on the staff, and I wonder if she wanted to get a look at this new principal, kind of an extended interview. And so when I offered, as part of my entry plan, to meet individually with staff, Paula reached out to get our partnership off the ground successfully. So we met in August, and I think we went for a walk or we stood outside, and she asked me about my intentions, beliefs, plans for our new school and our students. I suspect Paula wanted to know if I shared our singular focus on student well-being, if I was committed to each student's success, if we would go the extra mile together to do the right thing. And at a certain point after grilling me, or I should say giving me the opportunity to open up and share myself, which she's so good at, she changed gears and began to focus on making sure I knew enough to hit the ground running. I see Paula as a guide who has supported me in being the best I can be, which she does for so many. And for the remainder of our first meeting, she told me all about our fantastic students and their needs, about the ways our team works together effectively, and what I could do to support others. And I'm incredibly grateful for having her support and guidance and foresight to put me in the best position to make a difference. Joining us today are many of Paula's colleagues. Paula worked across elementary, middle, and high school in her career in Belmont as a social worker. The folks here for her showed up because of the impact she made on them, the investment she gave to their relationships, to recognize the immeasurable, positive, uplifting influence she's been in the district. And in working with these folks, I can see the example she set, her mentorship and friendship, time, energy, trust, and care. She creates culture around her. She demonstrates what it means to serve, lead, and attend to student needs, to advocate. And Paula sets a bar, a standard for herself that she lives by and that others notice, and is part of why she's held in such high regard by her peers. Paula, the social worker, Paula, the artist and traveler, Paula, the human being who is invested in whatever she touches, is an inspiration to me and others and is a treasure for Belmont Middle School, our students and families in this district. Thank you, Paula, for 30 years. I know the adventure continues, and there are still firsts to be had, including your DC chaperone experience ahead in June. And I know with every experience on the horizon, you will be your whole self, embrace the opportunity, and leave everyone changed for the better. Thank you.
And finally, although he's usually behind the scenes, we're going to ask him to come up to the table. John Sullivan is celebrating 30 years, and on his behalf will be Ken Kramer to speak for him.
I think it's important when we think about 30 years of history to have a little historical context. So in September of 1993, the first known reference to Y2K is published in Computer World magazine. The TV show X-Files debuts with 12 million viewers, and Meatloaf's I'd Do Anything for Love is released and goes #1 in 28 countries. Additionally, in September of 1993, John Sullivan starts working in Belmont. I don't even want to think about how old I was in 1993, but it was a long time ago. When I think of John Sullivan as a teacher, I think of him in terms of the litmus test I ascribe for all teachers. Would I want my son or daughter or my grandchildren to have him as a special ed teacher, to have him as a support? And the answer would be a resounding absolutely. Over 30 years ago, I've had the pleasure of working with John for the past 18 of those 30 years. In my work with John, I've come to know him as someone who consistently demonstrates a tremendous level of commitment and dedication to the students and staff he works with and to the school he works within. As a special ed liaison, he's responsible for delivering and coordinating a variety of services for the students on his caseload and ensuring that the supports they need to be successful are provided to them as needed. He takes that responsibility to heart, and he has always managed to accomplish this goal with a great deal of success. Observing John with his students in Learning Center is witnessing, to my way of thinking, John at his best. He provides comprehensive instruction, direct coursework guidance, and academic support in a variety of different subjects all at once. He knows all his students' strengths and weaknesses. He uses that information to engage them, prod them, cajole them, and motivate them, and seems to tirelessly work with each to ensure that they are on top of everything that they need to do. Additionally, in my interactions with John, I've come to know him as someone who displays a high degree of professionalism and respect. This calm demeanor is all I've ever witnessed from John. He is always available to work with colleagues and parents to ensure implementation of the best strategies each student needs across all instructional environments, and he works extensively with colleagues and administrators to ensure that all instructional environments have the materials and resources necessary to actualize those strategies successfully. For the past 30 years, the Belmont Public Schools has benefited from the ever-increasing level of expertise John has developed and applied throughout his career towards the achievement and success of the students he's supported. And for that, we're tremendously appreciative. Thank you for those 30 years. The only other thing I would add to that is, over the past 18 of the 30 years John's worked here, I've gotten older, grayer, and fatter, and he's looked exactly the same. For that, I hate him just a little.
Do you have a box? Oh, it's somewhere else? All right. Thank you, Ken, for your kind words on behalf of John Sullivan, and thank you to all of our leaders for your kind words on behalf of those educators celebrating their 25 and 30-year milestones. Before we end, I want to take a minute to especially thank the small army of folks who helped organize today's ceremony. Paul and Renato from the BHS crew helping clean the cafeteria and organizing all the furniture. To Jackie and Gail and the entire food services team for their help preparing the food and beverages. To Jeff Hansel and Matt from Belmont Media Center and their entire crew for their help filming today's ceremony. To say we called them late today is probably to be a bit understating it. We called them at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And they came right down. And as soon as it's posted online, we'll send out the link so you can share it with friends and family who maybe couldn't be there to celebrate with you today. I also want to thank Consuela Abasquita and Rebecca Lieb for thinking of every little detail. They track the list of honorees, the invitations, the flowers, the most minute of details, and I'm personally very appreciative. I want to thank all the district, school, and association leaders for taking part in today's ceremony. Give yourselves a hand, please. I want to thank members of the Belmont School Committee who were able to join us today over in the corner here. And additionally, I'd like to thank all the Belmont educators who are simply here to support their colleagues. Most of all, thank you and congratulations to those educators who were honored today. We honor your service and we look forward to celebrating your next milestone as a member of the Belmont Public Schools family. So thank you. Before we leave, I want to make sure I don't make the same mistake. I can see Consuela sort of creeping towards me because she knows I make this mistake every year. We have to give away the floral centerpieces. So she asks me every year, and as you're leaving, I say, oh, grab flowers if you want, but we're going to do it a little bit differently this year. Consuela and Rebecca have been very patient with me of 2 years of mistakes, but I don't think I can risk a third. So before you leave, we're going to pull the names out of this here. Of a few lucky recipients who will take home as a parting gift the flowers on their table. So this is everyone who is in a 10-year, a 15-year, or a 20-year. And if they're not here, then that's okay, and we'll choose a different one. So the first one is Michael Bruno. So Mike, take it home for you. Is he still here, or did he already leave? Oh, Mike's got one. All right. The second one is going to be, he's not here, Beth Rumley is the second one. Our third one is Nick Chambers. I think I saw Nick there. Our fourth one is Ani Yildirim. Is Ani still here? Our fifth one will be someone who's here, maybe? No. Reuven Akashik will be our fifth one. Our sixth one will be Patricia Adamian. Our seventh will be Brianne Panzarella. Our eighth one will be Beth Monka. Our ninth one will be Sheila Walsh. Our 10th one will be Carl Mitchell. And we have 12, right? I want to make sure I don't announce 13 and everyone fights over them. Our 11th will be Gail Milani. And our 12th and final one will be Jennifer Karagianis. So two pieces to those. One, if you, they do tend to make a little bit of a mess when you leave in your car. So if you need a plastic bag, those are up here. And also two last ones, we need to get rid of these balloons too. So I'm gonna give Erin O'Regan, is she still here? Erin, you're taking the balloons home. And Bev Catter, she left, right? She took her prize and left, so. Amy Doherty, where's Amy Doherty? She's still here, there she is, balloon time. Anything else? Thank you, Hernandez. And last, I always, there's always a risk of thanking individual people because you leave people out. So fortunately, my partner in crime, Consuela here, asked me to remind me to thank Angie Hernandez in the BHS main office. Give her a hand, make her hear it. And that does conclude our staff recognition ceremony. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.